Divas, oh my, we have a show for you. Two special guests this week. You all will have heard of them. I know you know them. Matt Dixon is a senior national politics reporter for NBC News based in Florida. And Peter Schorsch is the president of Extensive Enterprises Media. He's the publisher and executive editor of FloridaPolitics.com, Influence Magazine, and a suite of email newsletters, including Sunburn, the morning read of what's hot in Florida politics. We have a hoot, the three of us here in the Speakeasy. That's right, we're all three together in the Speakeasy. We talk all about the 2026 elections. We hit on the upcoming legislative session and Trump v. DeSantis. Is Governor DeSantis a lame duck? You want to stick around and listen. These guys know it all, and they're not afraid to tell it.
The strange thing about the DeSantis-Trump thing in Florida is both are still very popular, but the ride or die sort of DeSantis supporter, those people are kind of gone.
You're listening to Deeper Dive with Derek Ham, a podcast by the News Service of Florida. Let's dive in.
Divas, oh my gosh, I am so excited. This is the episode everybody has been waiting for. Yes, it's true. Everybody has been waiting for it. We have Peter Schorsch here from St. Petersburg. He came all the way up from St. Petersburg just to do Deeper Dive with us today. No, that's not true. He is the publisher of Influence Magazine, the Florida Politics. I was going to call you doyen, but I don't think that's right.
Well, if you're using the term diva, I think you can use the term doyen.
That's right. Okay.
Do you know how you know Peter's in Tallahassee? Because he won't stop talking about it on Twitter.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and now and
it begins.
and it begins. And it is. They are a double act because we have not only Peter Schorsch, but we have Matt Dixon, NBC News.
Correct.
And he is a Tallahassee. He was a Capitol Press Corps person, and now he is on to Washington with his lovely wife, Ana Ceballos, who also worked with me at the news service, because, as you know, it's all about... And Peter.
Yes.
So it's all about...
We had the pleasure of working together.
Small town. Everyone sort of, ends up working, doing the rounds.
Together.
Are you saying it's an incestuous cesspool in Tallahassee?
I didn't say it in so many words, Dar, but that's exactly what I said.
Yes, it is.
No. And I say I run a halfway house for laid off journalists. So whenever
the island
gets
the island of from
Misfit Toys.
Yeah, Island Misfit Toys from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yeah.
They do have a double act. I think I warned you at the top, or not warned you. I set it up. They do have a double act, and so I'm really excited to have them both here with me in the Speakeasy. And Matt this is probably his last live performance in Tallahassee.
As we sit here, I moved to DC in, I guess, 3 or 4 days. Yeah, we have movers coming, and then off to DC we go.
And so will that be changing your job at all?
No, I mean, I work for NBC. I've been based in Tallahassee for my first 2 years there, but it's been largely national stuff. They hired me when Governor DeSantis was running for president because they wanted a Florida footprint. And after the election, they just said, that's all right. Florida's a big enough state. You can stay there. But my better half got a really good job opportunity in DC. So off we go. But I'll be staying with the same company and largely be covering the same things, including NBC has cared about the Florida governor's race, the Florida Senate race, and I'm sort of still going to be their Florida presence. So I haven't been in the weeds as much as of late as I used to be in earlier iterations of my career. But there'll still be some intersection.
Is Florida still the center of the political universe?
Absolutely not.
I don't think it is electorally, but I think the DC Mar-a-Lago corridor is the axis.
Well, there's a lot
on which things
there's a lot of Bedminster too, but Mar-a-Lago matters. But also the reason Florida will always remain relevant is because it's going to create a lot of Republican national stars of the future. And plus, there's more billionaires in this state than any other state in the country. So if you want to raise money for a national campaign, As of
let's fact check.
No.
Fact check.
I will say, as of
Call Katie Sanders. Katie Sanders, check on that for us.
As of 3 years ago, when I was writing my book, per capita, yes.
That's right. I was going to mention your book. But go ahead, give it a plug.
Someone should.
The author maybe.
So I suppose the reporting in Swamp Monsters by Matt Dixon may now be a bit older, but as of 3 years ago, per capita, there was more billionaires in Florida. So the larger point is to get away from this moment in time, which I'm very uncomfortable with, is to say that political campaigns will always eye, especially South Florida, because that's where they come to raise money. Mar-a-Lago's there. So Florida's footprint or impact on national politics isn't going away necessarily, but its version of being a swing state, its influence nationally is just changing drastically.
Diminishing?
Diminishing in a general election, maybe not so much in Republican primaries, because it's just such a deep red state right now, and it's hard to see a comeback for Democrats.
Well, they're all
right
moving here anyway, right?
I think it's a much more fascinating state from a news perspective. I think, like, just in talking to, I think people in Europe care about what happens in Florida more. I think people in South America obviously care about what happens in Orlando and Miami. And so, like, I think Matt, in a way, is, if this was the 1940s, he would be the bureau chief of the London bureau, right? Like, he'd be our man over in London reporting back.
Right.
And now he is going to, to DC to do that. But he's got this great kind of territory, this interesting state. I think we get more news out of Florida, certainly, than California.
20 million people.
But New York isn't interesting, other than the city, but it isn't interesting to the political.
Well, they're not as, not to be disparaging or anything, but they're not like, okay, we're not doing vaccines anymore. Like that's newsworthy.
The New York City mayoral race is having a moment, but
that's true.
Overall, I think you're probably right. Just because, Florida puts itself on the cutting edge of a lot of sort of gee whiz, like, can I say shit?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to
look. It took me. I was doing this for 2 years before I discovered that when I set up the template for my people, my production team,
Sure.
One of them said to me, like, "Hey, do we need to push you? Maybe you need to." Select the explicit. There's like a check mark for explicit. I've been doing it for 2 years. I didn't even know that. Yeah. I said, can we default it to explicit?
That's
so
right.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, so whether you agree or whether you agree or disagree with the policy coming out of Florida, nationally, it does have this holy shit sort of you're pointing at me.
Well, I was going to ask you if you knew Paul Bradshaw.
Yeah.
Because I was talking with
not
Paul.
as well as you.
I was talking with Paul, and Paul has a really great point, which is, so Florida politics became kind of the template for the bare knuckle version. That sounds so much better, right, audience?
I just want to set the scene a little bit. Peter's shirt looks like a magic eye. Like, remember those books when you were a kid and you sort of look into it and you try to see something? It's got this pattern. I can't really explain other than
they're little. What was our wedding flower? Hydrangeas.
Oh,
wow.
Nice. Yeah. Very southern, very deep south.
Thank you. With
very Tallahassee.
With seersucker shorts.
And seersucker.
I mean, this is casual. I should be over at Capital City.
It's past it's past Labor Day, though.
That's true.
So
that is true.
I believe you're breaking every southern...
I think he's okay. It's 90. My car told me it was 95 degrees on my way over here. But anyway, Paul Bradshaw.
See, this is how
we digress.
No, I think the way that the politics and campaign style infected the rest of America, that started in Florida. And his point is now the lobbying and governing style is going to go to Florida. And if you look at the money that the big firms make, Ballard, Capital City, Southern, they make more than the next 5 firms in New York or California do combined. And so this like hyper aggressive campaign style that, basically came in the 90s, you're going to see this hyper-aggressive lobbying, public affairs, governing style make its way, even more so to DC.
But also with the Florida presence in the White House,
Florida man.
A good chunk of their book now is starting to be, the big ones you just named, and even there's firms planting a flag in DC. A good chunk of the book now is coming out of DC for Florida firms. So it's not even,
the Swamp Monsters book?
100%.
I think I smell a sequel.
What's that?
I think I smell a sequel to that book.
Oh, well, we'll just have to keep the people guessing, I suppose.
Okay, well, we didn't get a chance for Peter. You're not moving to DC, but you want to tell everybody knows who you are, and our listeners are very sophisticated. But give us a little update on what you're doing and anything break news.
I'm having a great time. I will say I love, it's a great time to own a domain called Florida Politics. I said that 4 years ago. I said that 8 years ago. I sent it 12 years ago when I first tried to hire young Dixon over there. And I'm so proud of him and Anna. They are the next gen, and they're really making it to that next level. Yeah. It's so cool seeing that happen for both of them. We're inundated with just stories every day. And it's not just the top of the ballot. If you look at Sunburn and you follow the state, you do see just, you got a brawl in Lake County, rural Lake County, over naming a street over Charlie Kirk, or you see super competitive House primaries.
Wasn't that unanimous though? I don't know how much of a
but it went.
Was.
Oh no, it was
Lake County.
That's where Sabatini was. It went. They had to call the cops in. Three people got removed.
They just fired him. I was watching that because
fired from the. Yeah.
It
was. I mean, the vote was not contentious, but the process was. And I just you see so many of these stories. You look in Southwest Florida, and they're going through just convulsions over Doge, over development, et cetera. So it's not just, hey, is Ashley Moody going to get reelected? We know that's going to happen. It's all the stuff under the sea, which is just so school boards. I think they've got a great reporter at Matt's former employer Politico, Andrew Atterbury.
Yeah, he does a great job.
He could just cover school board races 100%. At this point.
He did now. The last slide I was there. Yeah. That's what it was, and it was definitely fertile news territory.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my next point, which is, and Dara and I did not talk about policy at all today, earlier at our panel. You talk about the floor, just to answer the question from the previous one, think about the school choice movement. This is ground zero for the school choice movement, which I think, honestly, is the most revolutionary, whether you like it or not. The idea of what's going on with school choice in Florida schools is the most massive public policy change, I think, in the country. I don't know. Forget about vaccines and whether or not you can take Tylenol. The idea that you are closing schools in Orange County, Pinellas, Hillsborough, and that private schools are booming and there are billions of dollars moving and shifting around. Nobody's covering this. I think this is massive.
I think I just saw something today while we were doing this panel together for FSAE, by the way. Thank you to them for having us and bringing Peter to the speakeasy. That now charter schools are allowed to operate inside public schools in Florida, or that's something. I just saw the headline, so I don't know if it's something that's already been decided or if it's something that they're going to do.
If you saw the headline, it doesn't matter if it's accurate.
Right.
Well, I mean,
just keep making your point.
I mean, just generally, all of the stuff that has become national conservative talking points started here. I mean, Donald Trump didn't know it. DEI, ESG, all of the acronyms that we all know so well. Right. He didn't know what they were until DeSantis sort of pushed them forward here. So the idea that, Florida can still be sort of the laboratory for national sort of conservative thought seems like it's relevant. And also, I think when Byron Donalds looks in the mirror, he sees a president staring back. So the idea that him, if he becomes the next governor, isn't going to, again, draw national attention to Florida, it certainly is.
We'll be right back with Peter Schorsch and Matt Dixon.
Together, we've been through it. Big storms, long hot nights, and the sigh of relief when the lights come on. At Tampa Electric, we never stop preparing. We strengthen lines, trim trees, and underground miles of power lines every year. And when a storm hits, we're all in. Every team member works around the clock until the power's back on for everyone. Yay! Because together, we can power through any storm. See how you can prepare at tampaelectric.com/stormcenter.
Okay, divas, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. It is time for the news in haikus. The news in haikus. This was a haiku contributed by an anonymous listener. DeSantis struts bold. Boots on, he fights Mickey Mouse. Florida's sun laughs. The news in haikus. The news in haikus. Don't forget, we'd love to hear your haiku. You can slide them into my DMs, or you can send them to podcasts. That's podcasts with an S at e.newsserviceflorida.com. Wherever you're listening, please don't forget to subscribe and give us a rating if you like what we're doing. And we're back with Peter Schorsch and Matt Dixon. So you know DeSantis better than I do, and you are a keen observer of all things DeSantis. So is the fact that the White House now is elevating these things that DeSantis is always like, this is the first, there's so many similarities between Trump and DeSantis, as you said in your book, Swamp Monster.
That's right. Woo.
Available at Midtown Reader.
Pretty much just libraries now.
Okay. Well, anyway, the point I was making is, DeSantis has been out in front, Florida out in front on school choice, out in front on, opening up and no masks and things like that. A lot of what we're seeing the White House is doing on a national level or is moving towards doing on a national level. DeSantis lost his bid for president. I know those presidential aspirations. I don't think they've disappeared. But the question is there, what is the attitude from DeSantis and his allies? We did all these things first, and now is Trump going to get all the credit for that?
Yeah, well, I mean, to some degree, I don't know that they look at it specifically through that lens, as far as them taking our policy pitches. I'm sure there's some degree of that. But I think the broader idea is just that the rivalry is still very real. Former Florida woman and now White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles.
Right.
A month or so ago, I think it was the New York Post, I forget, she did an interview saying Governor DeSantis is a great governor.
It's water under the bridge.
Yeah, and
water under the bridge.
I think Susie's going to wait in the high weeds to try to kneecap around DeSantis until Susie Wiles is on this
she was
planet.
Trolling him.
Yeah.
She was
Narrator,
come on, am I
it's
wrong?
not water under the bridge.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, the White House kind of runs Florida politics to a degree right now. We see it in cabinet races. We see it in the gubernatorial race. I think there is, and all of those are, have a great deal of intersection at the White House political shop. So I think there is a real, Trump attempted takeover of Florida, and that's put Governor DeSantis obviously on his heels. And so I don't know if he necessarily views it as, well, I made DEI and now DEI is national. I think it's probably viewed through the broader lens of, this long running feud and rivalry.
I think his supporters do. I think, I label them the alligator in their handles crowd, the people that have the little free state of Florida, flags in their profile.
And they literally do have the alligator.
They have the alligator.
It's nice of them to self-identify, though.
Yeah.
What is it? It's Freedom Florida.
You can recognize the bots more easily.
They definitely make the argument that Ron DeSantis deserves more credit.
Sure.
And we're going to long-term win this battle intellectually, that eventually Trump will fade away, DeSantis will beat Vance in the primary, and we will at some point get revenge. Well, I don't agree with that, but I think
I was just going to say, do you think that's true?
I think Vance is clearly.
I think
has Ron DeSantis' personality improved in 2.5 years? I mean, you covered him.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea. I mean, I think he still wants to run for president in 2028. I think those chances are getting more difficult, even just from the basic blocking and tackling of politics. He raised the most money of any governor and any governor in the history of the country in 2022, even self-funders in California and others. He raised more money than anyone who's ever run for governor. And he started out his presidential campaign with the Elons, the Peter Thiels of the world, and all of those are gone. So what I mean by blocking and tackling of politics, I don't know who would fund around finding the money to run for president again, even if that is the aspiration, seems like an uphill battle this time, when in 2022 it very much was not.
We were just talking about this,
or 2024.
And you kind of alluded to this when we were talking about the 2026 gubernatorial race. So is Casey DeSantis going to run? Is Jay Collins going to run? We were asked this question, and I stupidly said I thought there would be a Casey DeSantis Collins ticket. So I'm not as brilliant as I think I am. Byron Donalds is the Trump candidate. So my question for you guys is that inability to fundraise is playing out. How is Jay Collins? Is he going to be able to gain traction and running against a Trump anointed candidate in Florida in the midterm? I'll let Matt go first, and then Peter had some really interesting things to say too.
I think it seems difficult at this point. The strange thing about the DeSantis Trump thing in Florida is, from a polling perspective, both are still very popular. Mm-hmm. Governor DeSantis is sort of
the DeSantis people tell you that all the time.
Well, I mean, I'm just the public polling stuff, but I mean the ride or die sort of backers of DeSantis going into his 2024 presidential, the legislature would do anything. You couldn't turn over a rock in this town without finding a ride or die DeSantis supporter. Excuse me. And those people are kind of gone. So while I think Jay Collins' resume is obviously amazing, American hero, he has all of these things going for him. When you hit the raw politics of it, I think it kind of is very difficult to see him, or potentially Casey. The Trump endorsement still matters. Byron Donalds has $25+ million in the bank. I think it's a very uphill climb in the brand, even though if a pollster calls a registered Republican, they're going to say, I still support Ron DeSantis. When you sort of layer that over, Byron Donalds is the Trump supported candidate, Donalds tends to do better. But that being said, right now, Byron Donalds has no opponent. He's running unopposed. So when the rubber meets the road, what's that?
He has Paul Renner.
He has Paul Renner.
Actually,
Paul Renner.
Let's talk about
on
Paul
a mission
Renner.
from God.
He has Paul Renner, but generally, when the campaigning actually begins, I mean, maybe some of that could erode. But honestly, that slip might have been. I think
Freudian slip.
Yeah,
Freudian slip. Does DeSantis have a statewide infrastructure that he could put to work for Jay Collins and or Casey DeSantis, or has that kind of disappeared?
I mean, I think that's what I've been hearing is that Ron is going to top fundraisers and saying, "Hey, I need money for Jay."
I've heard that,
and they are saying, "I really don't want to give to Jay. I really don't want to give to Jay because I like Byron. Can I just give you the money?" And that's why, like, if you look, as we're doing this podcast, at Collins's 2 political committees, there's nothing in there. I mean, he's raising less money now than when he was running for state senate. And you would have thought there would be some DeSantis $100,000 contributors, even the basic ones. They're not there.
Who wants to get on the White House's naughty list?
I know.
And you show up, a PC has to report every 5 days.
Exactly.
And you show up on that PC, and I best believe the White House is paying attention.
I've said Collins is a souffle. It's just going to collapse. Either it never gets off the ground. I think we were all hearing that the start of that is getting pushed back. There's not going to be a DeSantis endorsement out the door. And then he gets to January and he's got less than $1 million. If he's in January and he's raised less money than Paul Renner, how does he stay in the race?
Well, and then pre-qualifying Casey swoops in, and all the alligators and the bios are after you again.
I know.
So they create a lane then way for Casey?
I'm not necessarily.
You think it's part of like a big, this is
Jay
all
Collins
part of the cunning scheme? The
Casey
cunning
to rise.
scheme?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily like predicting that, but I
you hate making predictions.
What's that?
You never like to make predictions.
You like to make predictions.
Because I think that, you have to play baseball and swing for the fences, and Matt is a little bit more cautious. And through our years...
My team, the Brewers, are,
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's right.
We're not...
We don't hit home runs, Peter.
Not.
We just get on base.
Yeah, here we go. I mean, Brewers, Green Bay Packers fan. We're not talking sports.
All right.
Let's
do you think Collins...
We have a no sports zone.
Collins is not on the ballot in 2026.
I think there's a high likelihood of that.
Renner?
I mean, Renner yeah, I think Renner will probably be there. Yeah,
Renner. It can't be
in the primary.
People don't know
He'll make
Renner
it through to the primary.
As a statewide,
he'll be able to get the funding, the resources to make it through to the primary.
I don't know what that means at this point. Getting to the primary with enough resources to be a front runner or like viable to get the nomination, maybe not, but to exist.
Okay,
sure.
As governor or in a different capacity?
I still think as governor.
Okay.
I mean, there's certainly other avenues for him.
But to your point, with DeSantis, he comes out and says, I'm running for governor. And that day, I think the governor's asked about it. He carried a lot of the governor's water when he was speaker. Nobody, people who aren't divas probably have no idea who Paul Renner is if they don't live in his district.
Well, I mean,
the governor pissed all over that.
He got HB3, the school choice bill through, the age verification bill. I mean, it is
the social media, kids in social media.
Definitely one of the, you could almost make the argument, the most consequential speaker since Cannon, but in terms of things passed.
But also he's like, he gave DeSantis what he wanted leading up to the presidential, to the degree that he also has to wear some of the erosion of the power of the legislative branch. I mean, those 2-3 years were some of the most boring legislative sessions because what Ron DeSantis wanted, DeSantis got.
Do voters care about that?
No, I'm not sure from a voter perspective they do, but I just, to put a fine point on the degree to which he gave Governor DeSantis everything he wanted, people who do watch this closely are saying, well, why do we have a legislature at this point? And he did all of that. And on day one, Ron DeSantis totally kneecapped him. I think in a normal political environment.
To use the governor's own, one of his favorite words, kneecapping.
Yeah, he's coming down the pike. But no, so the idea that in a normal political environment, and I think most governors would have said something tactful like, whatever, welcome to the race. And DeSantis just sort of, took a thrash or two right away.
Yeah, he did. That's why it was. That's why I'm saying it was a little. That's why I'm a little surprised to hear you saying he's going to make it onto the ballot.
I mean, I
just with that kind of icy reception, given how popular Ron DeSantis still is.
5 minutes ago on this very podcast, I forgot that he was running. So kind of
little context.
Yeah.
I don't think it can be stated enough that Renner's running for out of a religious conviction.
Oh, sure.
And people that don't know who he is.
Yeah. What do you mean?
He is on a mission from God. That he is inspired by God to run for governor. And
God chose him?
I haven't heard him say God chose him, but he has said, this is part of God's plan. His consultants are that we will see what God has in store for us. It's not coincidental for the divas to know, the insiders to know that he hired Brett Doster as his consultant, who is of all the consultants is probably the most closely aligned with whatever Christian conservative movement there is in Florida. And so that's why I think he makes it to the ballot, even if he loses.
But remember the
40 points.
Remember the Casey ad?
So he gets the
narrated Casey DeSantis ad that
God made a DeSantis
essentially implied that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so same sort of vibes.
President Trump too, right? Didn't God pick him to run for president?
I think
he saved him from an assassination, Dara. So get it straight.
And that.
You better get that straight, or I will report you up to
St. Peter. Oh, now that was kind of a pun. No.
Oh, boom!
There we go.
Do you remember when Ootmeyer, when he and I got into that Twitter fight?
Which one?
We both had it, and he said it was something like. And Ootmeyer's, I really like James a lot more offline than people know, but he was just like, when you stand before the gates,
he's
and
very
St. Peter's
likable
there,
IRL.
And it was just like, oh my God, who is going? Like he was condemning me to eternal hell because I was speaking up on Amendment 4. It was like this crazy.
He has a very strong belief system.
He reminds me a little bit of the villain in the Da Vinci Code. Those kind of strong beliefs. He's definitely throwing out some, what's the Catholic, the order behind, do you know?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, he's definitely giving me, if he wasn't doing this, I could kind of see him self-flagellating
in
some monk's
I'm not. I think enough about. I'm not.
Is your version of internal damnation just like pickleball for all of eternity
in Milwaukee?
That's funny.
In Milwaukee, surrounded by Green Bay fans.
Oh my gosh!
I'm not beating up on
you know, I can't.
General.
I love Milwaukee, but Green Bay beat the Cowboys.
No, are we doing it? We said no sports.
I wasn't even having a sports conversation. I just think Milwaukee's a very underrated city, and I was taking.
I
have
heard that. You know, I love Milwaukee.
All right.
But do you not remember the playoff game last year?
I do. But I was trying to abide by Dara's rules of the no sports zone.
Right.
You're no sports.
No.
Not no sports. I have a little sports story. If we have to wade into
it, it's okay. I just,
not no. Just there's so much to talk about, and I'm afraid you guys are going to run away. I want to ask if Hope Florida is still a thing. Is that something that is going to hurt Casey DeSantis, or is that a nothing burger at this point?
I think it did hurt Casey DeSantis. It definitely stalled her momentum. There was talk of her jumping out last summer. It clearly ended that happening until now. I do think, not a prediction wise, but I think we will see something here pre-session that maybe clears them up a little bit more. I'm not saying that it's the most authoritative thing, whether it be Jack Campbell, whether it be the Attorney General's office. I think that DeSantis and Utmeyer want to get something out there. And so
you're saying if the Attorney General's office clears them of Hope Florida, that would be authoritative?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not. I'm saying it wouldn't be. They would need like Jack Campbell, the state attorney up here, to say something. But I think you're going to see something kind of clear it up so that Andrade is not just beating the crap out of them during session.
If she runs, would it matter though? I mean, the TV spots and the mailers are already drafted up.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't think it matters.
I think it's done. I got to tell you, I think a fork has been stuck in Hope, Florida, and all the damage that was going to be done is done, and everybody's moved on.
I don't know if you saw Florida Politics Report, but it is not in the LBRs. There's no money for Hope Florida for next year.
Then you just keep it. You put it in the corner. Away? It's in timeout.
Right. So that's weird.
You're not talking about it. I mean, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, but I think
that's a brilliant strategy. I didn't see that. No.
I think if she runs, it all comes back, though. I mean, that's going to be.
It comes back, but then what? Then it comes back, and then it's just like the media.
Let's take a step back
or
here
that
from
liberal guy who's owned by the marijuana companies, which I don't even know how Andrade is owned by the marijuana company. That Rhino, right?
An earlier question. I think you have to take a step back and say, like, the DeSantis have been pushing around town this idea that they would eventually get a co-endorsement, or that Trump would come around.
That's gone.
And it's gone, but they don't think it's gone. Yeah. They are still
I have heard that she would get an endorsement. Also,
from Melania.
From Melania.
Right. But they keep spinning that, and it's just not true. But as long as people keep thinking that.
I didn't know that was still in the circulation.
I mean, they met with, I believe Casey was there. I mean, they met with Trump at the White House, and I think the Oval Office, to try to talk about it and try to get that. And I think the idea of that happening is so far gone. And as long as his chief of staff is his chief of staff, and I mean Trump's,
but they're not stopping spinning it to
supporters, right?
Well, and what's funny is people who make a lot of money and become political donors, who are very smart in some segments of society, are often the most politically naive.
True.
So that spin kind of works. Donald Trump is more, let me go on the record. Donald Trump is more likely to endorse Peter Schorsch for governor than he is Casey.
I just heard from Peter that his best interview ever was Donald Trump.
Yeah. I mean,
and guess who mine was?
I love my president.
You can tell us that story. I mean, you can tell us the story. Your favorite interview.
I think I've told Matt, like, maybe he's probably heard it like 15 times. But we did a poll in 2015. It was the one that showed him above Jeb.
It's new to the Divas.
It's new to the Divas. I was going to the Dave Matthews Band concert, which I did not put out there. And so I kind of didn't want to talk to Trump at that point. And he did. Roger Stone put us together, and I ended up talking to the president then. And that's the start of, we had many conversations through 2016, because he would call and check in on. But the funny part was, he was like regular for like 30 seconds. Like, oh, what's the poll number say? And then he started talking about the hotels. And I'm like, well, you have a lot of support in Florida. He's like, of course I do. I built beautiful golf courses. I have incredible hotels. I've been on, and he went into the Trump part at that point. But
did you not want to talk to him before the concert? Because like maybe the pre-concert stuff was starting to hit.
Pre-concert.
It was starting to hit maybe.
I may have mixed myself up like a 9-part Bloody Mary, and I was in the back of a limo going over to with
Oh, that's funny.
Did you interview him while holding a Bloody Mary in your hand?
Don't I? When do I do any business without a Bloody Mary or a Shalata in my hand?
Fair enough.
Thank you. And by the way, this podcast is sponsored by Modelo. Your best choice when you're making your Shalatas. Check out petersrecipes.com for my special American Michelada recipe. Thank you to Modelo.
I don't think they have a contract team in the States, so that's not an advertising hook for you, brother. I'm sorry.
You know, Modelo is the biggest, sells the most beer now.
I did not know that.
Because Mexico loves to drink beer, and they don't have as much diversity in their choices, and so Mexicans all drink. Modelo. I love it. We have so much construction going on in our neighborhood. We do have a lot of our friends from South America and Central America. And I like to start drinking around 11:30 or 12 after I've come off the tennis courts. And so I'll pop into the convenience store as they're going to lunch.
Right.
And I will go and grab a nice tall boy Shalata. And I always get the like look of approval from the guys that are doing the roofing. And I feel really like international at that point.
You don't wear that shirt when you go in, right?
Well, I think they're all going to go out of business because all the THC drinks are going to take over that market. And they're already cutting into it really hard.
The kids don't drink anymore either.
Really
the
hard.
Kids don't drink. They're
cutting into beer and wine like crazy, man.
I just read that. I'm like, what the? Now we know what is the matter with them. Why they're so anxious is that they don't drink.
They're drinking too much. They're drinking too much weed.
Right. Exactly.
I've actually never had one of those. Like I've never had one of the.
Really? You can get it right down the corner.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Does it taste like? What does it taste like?
It tastes like a diet, like a fizzy water, like a fruit fizzy water. Okay. Most of them are
so it doesn't taste like weed.
You should try the Jerry Garcia Sweat. It's my favorite flavor. It's very good.
You can also down the street. I know because I dropped into Tallulah's the other day.
What's that?
It's a THC. I mean, an CBD.
On a journalism
CBD
story.
It was actually because I heard they got raided, so I went over there, and they are selling slushies with from 30 grams to 150 grams of THC in them. So for context,
yikes!
If you get a gummy, if you're a marijuana patient, medical marijuana patient. The cap on a gummy is 10 milligrams of THC. So you can go in, walk in off the street if you're over 21 and buy a slushie with 3 times that up to 10 times that.
Don't we have an agriculture
right now? You can go do it.
You eat one of those, you get lost in Peter's shirt for days.
It's not against the law.
You cannot do one of those and then look at the shirt. I should have a warning label on it.
We're gonna have to get some in the speakeasy.
This is Roback, by the way. This is the one spot. I mean, like this is
This shirt's perfectly fine. I don't know what Matt Dixon.
This is Barstool. Well, everybody's wearing Roback.
He's got a
dribble on his shirt.
This is
like he just met with his boyfriend.
Stream sauce, yeah. No, there's actually nothing wrong with the shirt, but I found a hook, and now I just keep playing the shtick. That's sort of how this works.
This is how you do the double act. All right, so we're back on the governor's race.
Paul Renner's still running.
Any emerging figures that we haven't talked about yet that might be showing up? All right, let's move to the other cabinet races. Kevin Steele going to get in? He's from your neck of the woods.
I think Kevin is waiting. I think
waiting for what?
A nod of approval from 1600 Pennsylvania.
Isn't that what the White House visit was, though?
Until like I said it earlier today, so it's repetitive with Dara. I won't believe he's in until I see some real estate being sold out of that portfolio. And I think it's like one of those.
Show me the money.
Yeah. The White House wants to see that he's going to put in the money before they go. And I think
well, then it's a game of chicken, isn't it?
It is. Or a chicken and the egg is what somebody literally talked about. I think Blaze also. And
that was me.
You kind of came like your time in Florida politics perfectly mirrored kind of like Blaze, right? Like he came in like 20.
My first session was 2010,
and I think ran for chairman.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I remember that. That was one of the craziest chair races ever because
Bittner.
No, it was Leslie Dewey was supported by Scott, and I remember being at the vote.
That was later.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
She was
got elected
the
in 10.
incumbent. She was the incumbent.
What was the one? All right, maybe my dates are off. But what was the one when Blaze beat the Scott-backed chair? I thought that was Leslie.
But it was after Scott was in, so that had to be.
I thought you were talking about chairman though.
Right, I'm saying like Scott was in. He got elected in 10.
Yeah.
So it would have had to have been either after the 12 or the 14 cycle.
But generally, yeah. Blaze's timeline and mine here in Tallahassee are pretty closely mirror each other.
I've been saying Blaze won't lose because of lack of work, but I just don't know that he can overcome that endorsement.
Trump endorsement matters a lot in Florida right now.
It does, right? Like I keep saying, like people keep saying,
if
Georgia.
somebody gets the Trump endorsement, he can't overcome it, is what you're saying. We don't have a Trump endorsed candidate.
No, if Kevin Steele gets in the race, all right, I'm gonna just put it out there. There are some people who do think Kevin Steele is weird. Like that is the word on the street. He is
Okay, wait, weird how? Divas want to know. This is the kind of shit they want to know. That's why they listen.
He is a deep conspiracy theorist. People close to him that I know. Yes.
Is that a negative in politics anymore?
Right.
Exactly.
Does weird matter?
I don't think weird matters. And
QAnon, I think there's QAnon people running the country now, my friend.
I'm merely putting it out there that people that are close to him are weary of when that gets out. I think that also the weirdness. One thing Trump doesn't like is weird. Like he doesn't. No, he doesn't like weird. He likes the.
He doesn't like weird is how he defines weird.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think that if people tell him, as people are telling him right now, that, hey, this Kevin Steele guy is a little weird, I wonder if the endorsement comes. I know he's going to bitch and complain about this, and I'm going to get a call from him. Until I see the money out there, until I see the Trump endorsement, till I hear, I'm telling you, you're going to hear some stuff, and it's going to come out, and you're going to be like, oh, okay.
That's what he was talking about.
That's what I was talking about.
I think there's next to zero chance the White House let Blaze skate, though. I mean, they
hate Blaze.
Going back to his time as chairman,
Right.
they've never liked him at all. So I don't know.
You're right. No, it's a conundrum.
I guess maybe he doesn't run, but I think both him and Perez are going to run based on that White House meeting alone.
You?
I mean, I don't have, I'm not bringing any intel to the table, but
Right.
you can sort of read the flow of things, and when you get invited to
did they just put that meeting out? Do they do that meeting and put those pictures out just to troll DeSantis?
Yeah,
I mean, that was very trolly, that picture.
I think they would rather actually build a slate against this candidate.
Kevin is right there. I mean, he did create a political committee last week.
Okay.
He is
we got to get him on the podcast.
I think he runs.
His consultants, like, they are at the tip of the diving board or whatever, ready to go.
But I don't know, Danny. I mean, the president showered a lot of love on James Othmeyer when they opened Alligator Alcatraz.
Called him handsome. And he also credited him with having this great idea of this. And so I think he seems to be an Othmeyer fan.
Is there any zag going to happen here about maybe, like, so all these guys took Alligator Alcatraz for a ride. And it got shut down, and then it got reopened. But it's never going to be, Alligator Alcatraz is never going to be cool again. Like, and I just wonder if, I feel a little pushback from people like, man, if the basis for Othmeyer's candidacy was how strong he was on Alligator Alcatraz, and Alligator Alcatraz has not taken off to the level that it was expected to. Is there a fallacy?
No, I don't think that's the basis for his candidacy. I think his thing is all about, getting, like, protecting kids, going after the child traffickers, tying immigration to human trafficking.
Did you see the video he put out with the Miami-Dade college Trump presidential lottery stuff?
Also that
the basis for his campaign is either getting that endorsement, which I don't think is going to happen, or keeping Trump out of the race.
There you go.
And
they do like him up there.
That seems more in line with what I see too. And I'm not sure that Alligator Alcatraz is even something we're talking about next year.
But we all got the text from RPOF about the merch, so.
Well,
about what, the merch?
That Alligator Alcatraz merch.
When he was on the podcast, I asked him if he regretted that or thought that was a bad idea, and he's like, "No, it's marketing is always good." So
I will give James a lot of credit.
He did take credit for the name too.
Yes.
And coming up with the idea.
And he's insistent on it.
Yeah.
Like he will show you the picture where he's like, hey, do you see the meeting where I was here?
Yeah.
I think you're right on that predatory issue.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to watch during session. I see some of the technology companies lobbying up. There's some things coming down where, like Snapchat's got a big issue.
Yeah, well, he sued them.
Yeah, well, but if you talk to Snapchat though,
I know
you've heard this spin, which is that, hey, we're turning this stuff over. Why are we getting? We're
the good guys, right?
We're not Pornhub. That's their new. That's their new motto.
But I think there's more of that.
Download Snapchat. We're not Pornhub.
Yeah, this social media and kids and porn must pull really well with the focus groups because this is like their third year in a row for what? Sorry.
Just the combination of those. I think the kids and the porn.
And the polling.
And the poll, it all polls well with the. I'm like, I don't even want to be in that focus group.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hey, how do you feel?
Yes, you do. There's no place in the world you'd rather be in that focus group.
Let's talk about the Democrats. Do we need to talk about the Democrats? Should we talk about the Democrats? David Jolly, you brought up some, it feels like we're on rinse, wash, repeat here because we just did a panel. We
different
talked about
audiences.
Some of these things. But David Jolly was on my show a couple weeks ago, and you brought up a good point that he made, the question was, does he stand a chance and what does he do? And give us your answer to that.
As I did at the panel, and Matt knows this as well as anybody, we've got to look at all of these races with this Republican turnout advantage, where I think as you and I do dive into the numbers and we've looked at each election and we're like, oh, it's going to be a Republican +1 or Republican +3. And now they are turning up that dial on the polls to Republican +9, 11, 13. And so the idea of any Democrat having a shot is right. just, it's stacked against them. But I also think David is, and I said out there, I have a complicated history. David was very generous to me. He actually gave me the money so that I could buy the engagement ring for Michelle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were doing business together and I wanted to do it quicker and he did that. But then he crashed Charlie Crist's campaign announcement in a very rude way. And so I've both donated to David, I've helped him, but it's just a complicated relationship. And I will say, I think the Democrats like him. I will say on the ground, like you go to the Tiger Bays, you go to the League of Women Voters, you see that there's energy for him at the grassroots. But I do think that he is.
I find that so interesting, Peter. And because
do you see it also?
Let's just take that for a moment. I'm not on the ground going to the.
You're just high all the time. Okay, got it.
The DEC meetings, but
neither am I. Just to be, let's just be clear.
Well, then I don't know.
No, I'm reading it off of social media, the response, but I don't want to be accused of going to.
But that's so far. That's their candidate. But you
just took away my joke. About you going to DEC meetings.
How do you get the enthusiasm? Like, how do you get to young people? How do you, Charlie Crist did great with the DECs too. And then nobody came out and voted for him when he ran for governor in
2022.
22, right?
You want me to break some news right now?
Sure.
I think Charlie Crist will be on the ballot in 2026.
Wow.
No.
I think Charlie Crist. Did I say that out loud?
I think that.
Should I turn up the volume? He's whispering it.
So you asked at the beginning of this little segment, do we even need to talk about Florida Democrats?
Yes.
And if Peter is right, I believe your question is answered.
Okay.
That's the.
Enough said, right?
I do think David was wrong on your podcast to be dismissive of Jerry Demings. I thought that was rude. I think that's what the typical moderates do to the candidates of color, and it's why the Democrats have such a divide as hey, don't you want to win? If you want to win, you've got to abandon your base. You got to abandon the people that bring.
I think he would have said that even if he wasn't black. I think he would have said it like basically, I'm the guy, and you should throw your lot in with me.
I haven't. I will. When you, I think, or someone did ask him about Pizzo, he had the welcoming message there. So no, I don't think he.
Okay.
I mean, he welcomed Pizzo, who became an independent, or who during that same time.
Well, you wouldn't get in a primary. You wouldn't bloody each other in a primary.
But he's
if Jason's in a,
you're welcoming Pizzo to the race, who's betrayed the party, and you're
an interesting interpretation.
And you're telling people that means that he should be discounted.
Matt's rolling his eyes over here.
Every 2 years since 2010, it's like clockwork. I have written a story about the Florida Democrats post-mort and how they're going to come back.
Turnout.
Every single year.
We got the turnout thing figured out this year.
Like, I pretty much just have the same story, and I just change out the names.
It's true.
And it feels, so the closest we came.
Your boss is probably like that.
What's that?
Your bosses must like that.
Absolutely.
Well, he's working for somebody different.
Well,
so.
but like the closest one, right? My first cycle, like real first cycle, is the closest they came. It was the Alex Sinkrick Scott race, and that felt close. And then the year
after,
close. Well, no, it was close. But that year, they're like, "This is the year we got it. This is the year we got it." And I was still relatively new, so I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is the year they got it."
Left
and
then Villages. Is it the Villages Sun or the Villages?
Oh my gosh,
Daily Sun.
Read up on my resume, Peter. My gosh,
when were you with the Villages Daily Sun?
I went to the Panama City News Herald, and then the Florida Times Union, and then Politico. I have, I've lived in all small towns.
He did gripping coverage of the golf cart races.
I did. Triangulated.
Well, I lived mostly along the tide. Lived in Jacksonville, Panama City, and Tallahassee.
Do you have any insight into who would replace Jake Collins if he indeed goes forward? In his Senate seat, do we have a runner-up for that race?
I think right now it's whether or not it's I think it's Melanie Griffin's to win or lose.
That's right.
She is the DPPR secretary, an accomplished local community person, married to this one guy. I won't even bring him up. God, Mike Griffin. He's a super connected guy, very nice guy,
and
vice chair.
The joke was you're very close.
Yes, he's kind of like
he's very close to everybody.
Like,
who are you not close to?
Ron DeSantis.
Okay.
He's kind of like, he's got you vibes, like when he and I are hanging out, where it's just like he's going, and then he busts balls, right. And then it's like,
you're riffing off each other.
I'm a point guard, and I
don't know what that is. You have to, you're a top. Okay, that I understand.
And
God, I'm so simple.
Matt is definitely like the finish. Like and I can pass to Matt.
Okay.
And he can slam dunk
it. And then he puts it in the basket.
Right. And so that's my energy I bring to a lot of friendships, is like I set it up, and then because I don't mind being made fun of.
We just talk a lot.
I'm not fat. I'm an out of shape guy who, that was a blogger in mommy's, house. So I don't mind. I mean, you think about it. I don't know if anybody gets flamed online inside of the process. I mean, I put it out, but
but that's because you're out there.
So you have to develop a thick skin with all of it. That's why Matt and I, he dunks. How many times has he dunked on me today?
I'm really sensitive. I'm an orphan. So to me, the whole world has to love me or I'll die. Literally, that's my whole thing. I'll die if people don't like me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's heavy. Let's move on to the legislative session.
Melanie Griffin, by the way, is for that state Senate seat. Maybe there's talk that Josie
She's
Tomkow,
the head of DBPR right now, right?
Right.
Is that still her agency?
Yep. And maybe Josie.
She's she's a front runner though. I mean, I don't think it's.
I think they wanted Josie.
You originally you originally framed
the
it as
Senate wants Josie, and the governor wants. And that there might be that.
Yeah.
Kind of battle.
Is he a lame duck? Let's talk about the 2026 legislative session.
Well, I think by definition, he's a lame duck.
Well, okay, but I mean, how powerful?
Oh yeah, he's
super powerful.
What's that?
Yeah,
he's super powerful. I think he's so. And I read Swamp Monsters cover multiple times. And while looking at a picture of Matt, the entire, I almost had the audiobook feel for it. Like Matt was talking to me.
Oh, nice.
It was a really nice experience.
That is super creepy. I do not approve of any of this.
And so I do think one of the storylines that we have to start looking at is Ron DeSantis will be signing executive appointments up until they drag him out. And if Rick Scott didn't give him
Rick Scott did,
yeah, I think we're going to see that. And one of those things is look at that appointment that just happened up here, Matt Beto.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So there's 6 other people that are accomplished jurists.
Yeah.
This guy is literally less than 5 years out of law school.
Yeah.
But he's Federalist Society.
Yes.
So he's part of the, secret handshake.
All of our FedSoc guys.
You have to be FedSoc. You don't get an appointment.
Oh my God, I'm so naive.
I don't think you get hired.
All of our FedSoc.
Oh yeah, you don't get hired. You don't get hired, I don't think.
Right, but just think of, he's going to have 200, 300 more times to do that at various levels of government.
But what's your barometer for power? Sure, he still has executive appointments, but compare him to the beginning of his second term. Compare his relationship with the legislature to where he was previously.
Sure.
I mean, every governor by default has power. I mean, there's all of these boards and agencies and judicial appointments.
Are we still under a state of emergency?
Yes. Yeah. We'll be under a state of emergency till he leaves office.
That is an extraordinary, that opens the door for doing anything.
Extraordinary powers.
That's the baseline power for any governor.
For spending.
All right. So relatively, yes, he is weaker than he was at his apex at the beginning of Swamp Monster.
I think that undersells it.
I think he is still super powerful, and he is on the hunt all of the time for how he can execute executive authority.
To wield his executive authority.
And with him, the only thing, and then I think, honestly, without Ootmeyer, it's not, I think Ootmeyer was enabling of that in a way that Strom and the other guys were not.
He facilitated it.
So you're saying he's powerful because of how he wields executive authority, but I think the power of how we would traditionally judge a governor's power is ability to pass his agenda through the building a couple blocks away.
Done.
And I don't. Okay. I think it depends. I think it depends.
And they're doing. And so let's talk about it. Property taxes. Let's talk about. That's his thing now. His shtick this year. He got all the culture war stuff out of the way, and now we're on the property taxes. And we heard. I don't know if any of you watched these committees this week. I did, and it looks like
I watched the last episode of Alien Earth.
Well, they said for sure they're going to put something on the ballot. So they're going to put something on the ballot. It's going to result in probably people getting less services and maybe paying less for property taxes.
I presume whatever the legislature will do, and I did not watch the committee, but just knowing generally how things work, I presume whatever the legislature does, it'll be enough to say we're not bucking the governor, but it is not going to be something the governor wants.
Right.
There's the
that's where Danny is now.
Yeah, I mean the old adage.
A Matt Ball special.
Yeah, the old adage forever. The House and the Senate can agree on a policy, but they're going to file different bills just so they can fight about it. And you never ever give the other person exactly what they want, just out of pure principle. And now there's real sort of hatred there between the parties. So I'm sure the legislature will do something because Republicans want their property taxes to go away. But I would be shocked if it was anything close to what actually DeSantis wanted to do.
Complete repeal of property taxes. You said something interesting. You don't think that anything will pass. Yeah. You don't think voters will approve it.
Oh, I don't think that voters will approve it at all. By the time it gets there and the cities and counties do a Hope Florida and they start putting on, you're going to see a fire truck go by your house in Clearwater, and it's going to say, this fire truck won't be here if there's not property taxes or whatever. They will use every lever.
It'll be FAFO and pass this.
FAFO. It's so funny, isn't it?
I think the media, I mean, not that the newspapers, that's not going to matter, but there will be such a coalition bigger than DeSantis's machine, I think, that will vote, and it has to get 60%. I just don't think that's. I don't think it's there.
The cities and the counties haven't had a great, but this I think, could.
What did I say earlier today? A Vancore special. Our good friend Steve Vancore of Vancore Jones, 27 of 29 referendum to increase taxes over the last 2 cycles have passed. The appetite is actually in the opposite direction.
I guess I meant through the Capitol, but I think this would coalesce everyone and be a very strong. Be a very strong moment for them.
Session is going to be a shit show of epic proportions, worse than last year. They might get a budget done earlier.
It's delicious.
I have said the thing I keep telling people, and he's going to eventually hear that I'm saying it, but it's like I think Ben Albritton is living on the alternate Earth in Fantastic Four. He is not operating in the Earth that is here. He thinks that they've hit a reset button and it's going to be nice and new, and Matt Ball is serving up a tasting menu of go fuck yourself. And the first course is go fuck yourself, and dessert is go fuck yourself. And I just don't. Albritton and Hooper are operating in this world where everything's going to be okay.
Right. It'll all work out.
They think he like running a Senate that's still of like the Charlie Deans and the Garrett Richters and the Mike Bennetts. Like, it's a very different. I mean, the Senate specifically over the past 10 years or whatever is just such a drastically different chamber. Yeah. And he probably is living a little bit in those past eras.
And I for the life of me, we haven't talked about agriculture commissioner and all the intrigue in there, which I do think there's genuine intrigue. But I will say he unilaterally disarmed himself and said, "I'm not coming back."
Right. Okay. So let's go back to that then, the agriculture race.
I mean, I love Kathy Mears more than life itself, and she is my favorite person in the entire process. So I don't want her to be upset when I say this, but Wilton Simpson has not said that he's running for re-election.
Yeah, I think
he's not.
I think it's like 70-30.
Well, I mean, he just hasn't told his staff. He hasn't told his supporters. And the thing we keep hearing is he keeps saying, "I'm either going up or I'm out." Mm-hmm. And that would open up a fourth race. And it has all sorts of intrigue there on what Albritton does, what other people do. Does Kat Kammack come in and run on a Trump slate against that?
And that would open up because they're not going to go. The one race they're not going. The White House isn't going after anyone. It's Wilton because they
love close.
Well, yeah, they're close. But that would definitely open up another opportunity for there to be a true Trump slate in the state.
But it's also at the same time oddly. I don't know if it's weakening or what have you, but it's oddly positioning Albritton in a way where maybe he is going to run for ag commissioner, but then he's, so it's, there's definitely a dynamic there that hasn't been. And I will say, I think it's going to be interesting to see what Wilton does, because I was talking to somebody, I want to say on the way up here, they told me the story went that Wilton canceled going to the Pasco County Republican Executive Committee because Jay Collins came in late, or announced that he was coming late and took his good seats. And I think you've got an aggrieved, I think you've got a Wilton Simpson who thinks that he should be governor kind of floating out there. And I'm very interested to see what he does in 26.
Well, all right, wait, hold that thought.
Do we have a word from our sponsors at Modelo?
No. Hold that thought.
I haven't been taping this.
Okay, we were talking about the cabinet race, the agriculture commissioner race. I had to take a little break. But I wanted to come back and talk about the legislative session. One of the important things that we haven't heard anything about it for a couple of weeks, the redistricting.
Oh, that is a good point.
Yeah, what's happening with that? This is and you're not covering the nitty gritty of what's going on in Florida legislature.
So
anymore.
what do you do exactly?
So what do you
sports
do?
Coverage?
Yeah.
I don't do a whole heck of a lot. I just try to blend in and tweet occasionally so people who remember who I am.
Or just quote tweet something insulting to me. Oh no, Peter's wrong again.
Well, no, it's not that. It's usually the last one was you posted some GIF about I'm coming to Tallahassee and you're being so dramatic.
Is it a GIF or a GIF?
I think it's actually GIF, but it doesn't feel natural to me, so I still go GIF.
Okay, anyway.
Can you tell us a little bit more, though, before we go on, about what's on your shirt?
They are referencing a stain on my T-shirt that came from lunch, and
you look like you got attacked by a crab cake.
Attacked by a crab cake. I did, but you look like
things could happen to a boy.
You look like you got attacked by a million crab cakes.
Oh my gosh. All right, here we go.
Boom.
There we go. So, what about redistricting?
I think on the thing on redistricting,
but that's a national thing too.
Yeah. Well,
so maybe you both can weigh in on that.
Peter can probably actually get into.
No, Matt can.
Well, no. I mean,
who's going to be out?
So let me set up the point.
Set it up.
I was just saying the idea that I think Peter probably getting the Florida specific weeds a little bit more, but from a broad national perspective. My guess is that, it's coming. They're doing it. The White House is calling, any Republican governor they have in their Rolodex, which is all of them, and really pushing them to do this.
Is that wild?
It's
never been done.
A mid-century redistricting is sort of
Mid-decade.
Mid-decade. Yes, not every 50 years.
We do it. Yeah.
Not every 50
You're
years.
thinking about mid-century modern.
That's right.
Which is one of my favorite motifs.
That's exactly. I was thinking of Peter's favorite motif, and I misspoke. But no, I think without question, it is coming. I mean, obviously Orlando, and there's going to be a lot of stuff in Southeast Florida. The national sort of landscape right now is Republican governors are going to push hard for this. And I think DeSantis, honestly, has sort of been on the forefront. Texas took a lot of the headlines and air out of the room initially. Yeah. But without question, it's coming to Florida. The committees are there. He's going to
deliver. Yeah. So he delivers for, and then you weigh in, but he delivers for Trump. Then are they besties again?
No, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, he's going to, I think Governor DeSantis is going to do it. One, because I actually genuinely think he personally believes it's a good idea. So I do think this is policy coming from him, but I don't think there's, just because they're going to align on certain situations. And I'm guessing in future, we'll see them say nice things about each other. They'll sit next to each other at a press conference. Right. And maybe, I don't actually know that the personal relationship between the two men is all that bad, and certainly not as bad as it was. But the two orbits, there is no olive branch that exists that's going to sort of divide, bridge that divide anymore.
Okay. Redistricting.
Focus. So I think this is something that's being done very quietly so as to avoid litigation issues the next time around. We always see that.
Right.
There's going to be litigation.
Yeah,
there will be.
Of course.
There will be lawyers.
Of course.
I think Ron DeSantis is right. I've said this. This is one of the areas where I think he's right on. We do need a mid-decade redistricting because of the number of Republicans in here. Like down by me.
The electorate has changed.
The electorate has dramatically changed. Anna Paulina Luna down in Pinellas, that was Bill Young's seat, Charlie Crist's seat. It's vastly different. Than
is redistricting is the trigger for drawing new districts, population, or party?
It's whatever Ron DeSantis says.
I thought it was population. Why is it based on the census if it's not based on...
Well, it is based on the population has increased too. But that's...
But what you're saying, there's always been migration between states. Some states have gotten a lot more. Some states have gotten a lot more Republicans or more Democrats over the years. That's not new. So why would this necessitate...
All right, let's go back. I think number one, Jeanette, how has no one blamed Jeanette Nunez for, she was the one in charge of the census?
I think you just did.
And
you're the third person who's asked me that.
She has escaped all scrutiny.
Why isn't anybody blaming her?
Yeah, she was in charge and the census was screwed up. Therefore, Jeanette Nunez screwed it up.
Okay.
And so there's that one thing you do go into this was Biden's census, which it wasn't, but somehow they get the numbers and then Biden crunches them or whatever. So they've turned it into the latest auto pen issue where they're blaming things on Biden. I think the thing why we haven't seen as much action, number one, Florida Senate just doesn't seem like it wants to do much in Tallahassee at all right now. Lee Hooper, Ed Hooper's wife, she's still pissed that she missed that cruise. And I don't think that they're coming back anytime soon.
That's the budget cruise.
I actually saw her at a game.
That's funny.
About 2 weeks ago. And I was in my cups and I came right up to her. I'm just like, hey, Lee, that was a cruise. And Ed looks at me like, you son of a...
Just look at her and be SB 2500.
Oh, funny.
She was, and she's like, we're finally getting... And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I think they're also getting some resistance from existing members of Congress. Somebody was bringing it up earlier. Neil Dunn doesn't want to give up a plus 20 Republican seat. He doesn't want to go to plus 8 because he's worried about Democrats.
You think Neil Dunn's going to run again?
Or whoever, the district, right? So they don't want to, they've won in this seat. And now you're asking me to
win again,
and under a different electorate. And it opens them up to challenges on the right.
And resources.
So suddenly Sabatini can beat Daniel Webster in district election.
I think once again, we're talking about things that don't matter in the sense if Donald Trump wants it, all of the members of Congress who are quietly lobbying the state to not do this are going to publicly say it's a great idea.
Yeah, it can also die of its own. And I think this is what's going to happen with property tax. I think you're putting so much into this session that, and you guys know this better than I am. Sometimes things just die, bills die because of the lack of momentum in January to March. And so you're telling them they got to get property tax through and redistricting through at the same time. That is a lot.
While everyone hates each other.
And they haven't, the budget is still the same issues that they had before. And so I don't know. I can just see, that's why I keep saying souffle. It may just collapse on its own
Won't
weight.
somebody think of the DOT work plan? That's all.
Gosh, dang it.
I know.
You love the DOT.
One thing we haven't talked about.
He loved the DOT. This is like a greatest hits tour for
There's
Matt.
a Pulitzer Prize in DOT contracts. I got to tell you, somebody could win a Pulitzer.
The 5-year DOT work plan when I was doing more Tallahassee focused stuff was like my favorite nerd thing ever. I did enjoy that.
Okay. It is. Can we dork on that and say, if you come to, and don't you have some connection
My
to
daughter
St.
lives in St. Pete.
The roads are great down there. Like the roads in St. Petersburg, Tampa. I know like I-4 connector.
Well, you live in like a really like fancy neighborhood.
You live in Old Town. Do you live in Old Town? No, you moved. You live on the water.
I live in a.
Do you live in Coffee Pot?
on an island,
Peter Island.
Where do you live?
I'd prefer not to say.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm worried, like David Jolly.
You can tell me
that someone may,
but I think I know where you live.
I live on Shore Acres.
Yeah, you've tweeted where you live.
Shore Acres is where they.
Everybody knows where I live.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
I just put
I thought you used
20 grand of Christmas or Halloween lights up. Not my 20 grand, but like, everybody knows that's my jackass house.
Yeah. Because Shore Acres is
Christmas sponsored by Disney.
Bad, the really bad flooding.
We got, and today is the 1-year anniversary of it was one of the worst days ever. And
how is the neighborhood back or how?
It's actually, I will say, and this is what really upsets me, because St. Pete has a mayoral race in 2026, connecting dots about previous statements about people in 2026.
Right.
I just got back on my bike after the hip surgeries. And so I'd always been biking, then I had to get off, and then I got back on. And
it's a great town for biking.
It is a great town for biking. There's the great Pinellas Bike Trail. It's amazing. I started to go around in the fingers of Pinellas County. It's all these kind of dredged in areas is what makes up the northeast part of St. Petersburg. Absolutely devastated. It is so sad how there are thousands of houses or thousands of people with hundreds of houses, maybe thousands of houses, dramatically impacted by the lack of recovery funds, the slowness of the permitting, the lack of response from the state. I don't know why Ron DeSantis doesn't like his home county, but we got hit hard and it's not back to where it was. It is very frustrating. And now we're like a lot of these communities where, you get so hard hit and you're so isolated. People move on to the next storm. They move on. And it's like, wait a second. Like, Dara, if you came to my neighborhood, you wouldn't be able to navigate the streets because there's so much construction. Because, these are the people that did make Florida. They had the single-story homes.
Sure. These old,
well, now they're being required to either move up.
Homes, right.
They either have to put the house on the second floor or not. And they are just not, they're retirees. They don't have. Yes, they're getting $250,000 or whatever the max is from their insurance, but that's not enough to build a second-story house now at this point. And so it is sad. It's something I wish more people focused on.
It's going to change maybe the flavor of the community.
St. Petersburg's last election.
That's what happened after Andrew.
It was a plus 20 Democratic to Republican advantage in the Ken Welch versus when he won his first race. It is now down to D plus 12.
Huh.
It's going to be D plus 8 or 9. And it's because, and I mean, there's a lot of nice changes that go along with it, but St. Petersburg is so laid back.
I love St. Petersburg.
It's, the waiters hang out at the same place. I mean, you basically have these nice houses in Old Northeast. There's some community leader living in the house. And then there's like me, I would be a waiter living in this great, 2-bedroom bungalow in the back of Old Northeast.
Right.
And that isn't there as much as it was. I mean, we lost our stadium. I mean, think about that.
I know.
So we're still dealing with that. That is so emblematic
of St. Pete. You lost your team.
Yeah. It is.
Hey, that much I know about sports.
Yes.
That's my limit there. All right. It's funny you mentioned that. Before we go on to another legislative issue that's also a national issue, I wanted to ask you about I hate when I say that. I want to ask you. Just
ask
it.
us.
Just ask.
Jesus,
just
Dara.
ask.
You won your first place over here. God damn it.
She gets to the top and all of a sudden it slides.
The swing. It used to be really a purple district. It was a swing. This was a area. Tampa Bay kind of was and Pinellas was a bellwether. I always felt. Look at Pinellas. Look at Pasco. Pasco now is deep, deep red.
Yes.
Forget about it.
Yes.
Is Pinellas still a bellwether, or are you? Yeah, okay.
I don't think that
You're
Pinellas
not purple anymore.
It's composition wise, you have a Republican sheriff, a very fair sheriff, Bob Gualtieri.
I love Gualtieri.
Probably one of the best.
Am I allowed to say that?
I think he's genuinely one.
You just did.
When you've got like TV guys like Grady Judd and Chris Noko, like
he's
Bob Gualtieri is the best. Yeah, he was.
Sheriff Gualtieri's the best.
But then you've got a Democratic congressman and a Republican congresswoman. You just have a good mix. You've got Nick DeSigli, but you've also got Lindsey Cross.
All right.
And so and that's why I think Pinellas is kind of nice because we do have some balance there. We do have some people that face competitive. I mean, this is like the last competitive area, maybe outside of like Orange County.
Orange
County anymore.
Well, I mean, if the Republican registration advantage can touch places like Miami-Dade and Palm Beach County, like nowhere in the state at this point is safe's the wrong word, but it can sort of not be touched by the red wave that now is Florida. And I think your area is still probably one of the last sort of safe haven. Yeah.
And you get you do get the urban liberals, you do get the there's such an environmental community in St. Petersburg and Pinellas because of the beach.
Very much.
But to answer your question, no, not. It used to be as Pinellas, as Hillsborough go, so goes the rest of the state.
That's right.
I just don't think that's.
I agree.
That's the case
I think it's changed.
Or maybe it is the case that Hillsborough did go red, and that's indicative of how red it is.
There is no indicator that the state's red. Like I don't think the I don't think the idea of an indicator in Florida really exists anymore.
Not anymore. What do you think was the tipping point?
Well, it's been 15 years now of Democrats sort of giving
I think it was when President Trump won election in Florida.
I think Florida's a great case study.
The first time.
I think Florida's a great case study in when one party nationally gives up on a swing state and the other side doubles down.
Yeah.
This is sort of what happens. My favorite number is in 2018, National Democratic Group spent $60 million in Florida. 2 years later, in 2018, they spent $2 million.
Oh, wow.
Florida's got...
Say that again.
In 2016, this is midterm to midterm comparison.
Okay.
So 2018 Democratic, the constellation of the DNCs, that sort of...
Sure.
They spent $60 million in Florida. 2 short years later in the 2018 midterm, or the 2022 midterms, I'm going midterm to midterm. They spent $2 million. Florida's got 10 expensive media markets.
Yeah.
It was trending right.
A lot of states.
Democrats hadn't won here for a very long time. So national Democrats have functionally given up on the state. It's very expensive. And they saw places like North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona that were cheaper and trending more in their direction. So Republicans doubled down on the state, i.e. the registration advantage, and Democrats functionally pulled out.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly when the state changed.
Tell me.
I know it's not the straw, but I know the moment. And it is when Gwen Graham lost to Andrew Gillum in that primary. Yeah. I think it is a completely different world. If Gillum was on the ropes. You guys know this better than I do. Yeah. Gillum was on the ropes in November, December of 2017. And the Democrats didn't want to knock him out because they didn't want to alienate the black vote. And Gwen underperformed, got bad advice, etc., going into that primary, and I think she dispatches DeSantis.
Somewhere Steve Shale's muttering Tom Steyer under his breath.
Yeah. And Kevin's moved out of town. And I just think,
I didn't know that. We don't need to.
Yeah. I think that was the death knell. Death knell. I like that word, right?
The death knell.
Death knell of the Florida Democratic Party was Gwen Graham.
It had been.
But she could have won that race.
Yeah, no,
but she didn't.
Yeah,
but she could have, and I don't think.
But she didn't win the primary.
Yeah,
but she could. I don't think that. I think DeSantis even thinks that.
Well, with how close that race The reason I think you're right that she could have won that race was how close that race was between Andrew Gillum and Ron DeSantis.
And it wasn't as close as the race of Nelson versus Scott. But let's not, I mean, that was only 11,000.
So we got, almost 30 years of coulda, woulda, shouldas with Florida Democrats, right? They haven't held power in Tallahassee for a very long time.
Do they ever come back into power? Are they ever even
Do we
relevant?
even ever have a democracy again?
Are they ever relevant again?
As we see, I mean, things change, but I don't see a path forward at the moment. The registration advantage is crazy. The National Democratic
growing.
The National Democratic groups treat Florida like Idaho at this point, and without and I mean
like Idaho.
And the transactional donors who operate in this town have no incentive to give to Democrats. The national folks have no incentive to do it without resources.
Are there non-transactional donors? People that just give out of the goodness of their heart.
That's
I'd like to meet them.
That's my fancy diva term for lobbyists.
I will say, no, I don't think so.
With super majorities, too, it's really hard for them to gain any traction, even getting money in the legislature, the Democrats.
I would say the only, and this would be years off, is if the various Latin America diaspora rebel against the Republican vote. Like if all of these communities that went, like especially down in Miami-Dade, went so pro-Trump, they look at ICE raids and they look at all of the policies and all of the Puerto Rican community in Osceola, et cetera. And they all get registered because they're not registered right now. And they all galvanize. That would be the only path. They're not going to win with white moderate.
Well, there's also something to be said, I guess, about the idea of a circular firing squad among Republicans in the sense. I mean, look where we are right now. They've had unchecked power in Tallahassee for a very long time. They're at each other's throats. I don't personally think that's necessarily going to be a tipping point. But there's circular firing squads pushing policy sort of further and further right on the political spectrum. So the idea there could be a tipping point. I don't even know that I believe what I'm saying right now.
I don't.
But
because you're attracting more people. I mean, it's true. What DeSantis says is true. Like you're attracting more people.
You are a retired law enforcement officer from Staten Island.
Exactly.
You are coming to Fort Myers.
Exactly.
If you were laid off,
if you're my
factory
cousins
worker from Youngstown, you are moving.
But
that's right.
Fort Myers.
It's definitely boosted in recent years. But that's always been the case. I mean, the Villages was a huge driver of Republican registration for a very long time. The retired cop from Staten Island's always come to Florida. Now it's the non-retired people who say my state is too liberal and I'm not retired. I'm still in the middle of my career.
I want my kids to
and
grow
I'm
up
still
in
coming
a place.
In the free state of Florida.
In the free state of Florida.
Well, can we say I do think? Can I ask? No.
Sure. I'm sorry.
Can I ask this question?
Yes, ask it.
There does deserve to be some credit given to DeSantis on, hey, tourism is booming still. You look at Nevada.
A lot of
the
credit.
Economy is strong. The entrepreneurial growth is strong.
It's true.
There's a lot of metrics. I'm not saying I believe even all of the metrics on education, et cetera. I know.
The education stuff, I'm not sure. You're more the expert on that.
Well, I mean, you get some of the new.
Well, put a New York high school graduate versus a Florida high school graduate and ask them to give you directions to wherever, and I'm going to take the New York City.
But also some of the metrics that show up in the press.
Well, they also know how to use public transit. Right. We don't have that in Florida.
Some of the metrics that show up in the press releases are kind of new metrics. Like every year, Florida is top ranked in the country for education.
Right.
That's not a metric that has always been a thing. You know. So some of that's I don't know if questionable is the right term, but some of it's very new.
Can I jump in right there? And ask you, can I ask you? No. So you say
it's not that easy, is it?
No, I know. You say these new things like this new education freedom. I think that's one of the most fascinating aspects of DeSantis and the non-Trump conservative movement or MAGA writ large, separate of the cult of personality aspect of Trump is. You said earlier, like Trump didn't know what DEI and you're right. I didn't know about these things either. Sure. And I think the thing that's fascinating about DeSantis is like, you just wake up and you're just like, and it's kind of like you're seeing it with RFK and you're like, well, Tylenol's bad. I'm like, I've never heard that before in my entire life.
It's called framing the narrative. He is brilliant at framing the narrative.
I never knew. I never thought that Andrew Warren should be removed from office for that he. Like that, you talk about executive power. The idea that you're going to remove the elected state attorney. Nobody even contemplated those things.
No.
And then it's just his idea of like, this is an issue, like it's like, well, we need to have gold and silver tender.
I know.
Like, when did I didn't even know that this was a thing.
That seems to me like
the only time I ever heard that talked about over the years is like listening to like Ron Paul commercials,
right?
When Rush Limbaugh was on,
right, right. Well, that gold silver stuff.
They have a lawmaker.
I've got this vision in my head of Yosemite Sam, like a real life looking Yosemite Sam, walking into a bar and pulling out a bag out of his pocket.
You need to hit your button. Hit your button. Your funny button. How do you say it? Ivermectin?
Yeah, ivermectin, yeah.
We're going to make that legal?
Well, and no, she's going to research it in cancer as a treatment for cancer.
When it's
Casey DeSantis is.
But again, had you ever heard of ivermectin 7 years ago?
I mean, no, but I mean
horse trainers did.
Yes, that's true. Okay,
and
now wait, that's true.
That's true. And as somebody in part of none of the horse people I deal with would ever put, and we own 2 horses. They're never putting in ivermectin or whatever in their body.
I think ivermectin.
Just this ability to seize on these issues. And what is scary though is like when you do get a Ladapo, discouraging. Like or let's say we get rid of mandated vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
The default will be that people are not vaccinated. Like people can't go. If I told them I had $100 to go pick up, we procrastinate. Think about us as human beings. We just don't go and do these things. So we are going to have a third of the state just be unvaccinated just because they're lazy or too busy to do it. And so there is this like, we are going down a rabbit hole where I don't know if being vaccinated or not. I believe it is. Maybe there's something different, but it's like, wait, you're telling me that you're going to discourage people from getting the flu vaccine. You're going to discourage people.
Well, I think it was the Surgeon General said the other day when there was this like reporting that you couldn't get a COVID booster.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out and said, and I can't remember the exact words,
he
but
said
it's bad. It's bad for you.
Yes.
Like it's like you shouldn't put it in your body.
I think it was not made for human consumption.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly it. Thank you. It was not made for human.
Yeah. But it was kind of interesting because he was making it in the point of saying, the question was, people can't get them here. And he was saying, no, you can get them here. It's up to the pharmacist or the local.
Right.
But he was saying you can get them here, but at the same time, they're not made for human consumption. Which is sort of strange messaging from like a public health official. Like, he obviously is not
like it's really bad for you.
He's like, not made for human consumption.
But you can get it. Right. It's bad for you, but you can get it.
What did he say also about
it's up to the pharmacist, which then means like your pharmacist is shit if they're giving it to you if it's bad for you.
And at least smoking makes you look cool.
That's true.
Not anymore. Vaping, I think, is making you look cool.
I don't like all the
smoke.
It just looks, first of all, anytime you're putting something orally into your mouth and you're just like sucking on it and then blowing out this like whale frost of spew, I'm just like, no, I don't know that you look great doing it anymore. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were talking about...
Yeah, Peter's been vaccinated his whole life, so clearly vax is not... Yeah.
What are they...
I think...
No, I don't want to even
the problem, I mean, ostensibly when children are young, they go to their doctors for periodic checkups, and that's when they get these vaccinations. And, the question is, if you have a certain number of people who, we're talking about basically survival of the fittest. I'm not going to use the other word for it, but it is what it is. Right.
What's the other word?
Eugenics. Yeah. I mean, it's basically like, you
or is that what this podcast is? Are we suddenly on Rogan?
No,
this is
I'm
great
just saying.
now.
No, I'm just But you know what I'm saying?
Did you see this YouTube video?
Yeah.
It was a panda.
if so people like me who have a chronic illness, who are susceptible to dying if they get exposed to certain diseases, and people who have other chronic illnesses, and who are older, it's like, okay, they're expendable. We don't need to get vaccinated because we don't need to protect.
No. What?
That's where we're headed.
That's what eugenics is. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's make the opposite argument, just for the sake of it, which is our good friend Mary Beth Tyson, who is an outspoken critic of
I've never met her, so she's not
my good friend.
Okay,
but she makes sense, about the imposition that these vaccines put on people, and that those people are then put into the corner. Right. And so it's almost like a choice. It's a horrible Sophie's choice where we're putting either one segment in the corner, the chronically ill, or the unvaccinated, and it's I know which side I am on, but now, because they sound vindictive. The people, the anti-vaxxers are like, now you know what it's like to be on the outside because we've been that way. I haven't been able to send my child to.
Well, they're in control now, so So for you,
let's land the plane here.
All right. One thing that we haven't talked about. One thing we haven't talked about is guns, and we've got this open carry thing now. Well, I'm talking about legislative.
And I'm carrying right now.
Are you?
Yeah, of course. Concealed weapon. If I pull it out, I've got to use it. So I don't want to pull it out, but yes, of course.
Are you fucking with me, or are you being honest?
I'm not fucking with you. Especially nowadays.
In here in this room right now,
Christine Sexton is in this building.
Oh my God!
I mean, come on. There's the rest of the news service crew. You don't think somebody's going to take a shot at me on the way out the door?
We want to wrap
none
it
of
up.
those people from the Florida Phoenix.
We want to wrap it up.
Mitch Perry.
I have some fun questions. I don't think Mitch Perry lives in Tallahassee, does he?
Mitch Perry does not.
He lives in Tampa.
Now I can go disarm myself as I go on for the rest of the day.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, Mitch definitely
would. So
would.
Great. Let me say thank you so much to Peter Schorsch and Matt Dixon for joining me today. This has really been a hoot and a holler.
Thank you.
And I have a couple of fun questions before we go, if our divas will be wanting to hear these. So Crocs, yay or nay?
I'm good with Crocs. I don't own a pair, but I have no personal. When Crocs first started, everyone was like, they're so terrible. But they're out there everywhere now. If you want to wear Crocs. I don't personally own a pair though.
Okay.
My daughter loves Crocs with the little gibbets. And you put that. So I will say yes for her. And I always get pedicures. So I like kind of being barefooted. I have that little white trash aspect of myself.
There you go.
So
he likes to show off
you can't be white trash while getting a pedicure, Peter.
Pumpkin spice, yay or nay?
I like pumpkin spice because I hate summer, and that represents the end of summer.
The moving into fall.
I'm not a huge pumpkin spice drinker necessarily, but it means that this oppressive Florida summer is over.
I do like this movement of pumpkin pecan.
I'm a hell to the F.
That's going
hell
out
to
right
the
now.
F.
I like that.
It's a movement.
It is. It's right there. Vaccinators and the PSPL group. We're all together.
If I go in front of the Capitol, are there going to be people waiting?
Favorite phone app? What's your favorite phone app?
The Hard Rock Sports app. I mean, for God's sake.
I mean, if it's not that, the one I'm on, unfortunately, 90% of the time is the Twitter app. So
not Signal.
I know.
Dave Ehrenberg told me Signal is his favorite app.
If you do
Whoa.
That's what I thought.
Who's he on with that he needs to get encrypted messages from?
We're all not pretending that literally everyone communicates via Signal now.
I don't.
I use text.
Do you?
I guarantee you do.
You know what? I'm sure I get them. Right?
You can't.
I texted you.
I don't mean but I mean there are certain people.
Sources.
There's certain people.
Sources
I do.
Can
I just say that I love social media and I love looking at other people's kids.
Oh, good. So you
Jesus.
For social media, what do you like the best? Insta?
I love Insta. I just really do. It makes me laugh. There's so many
so much fun
content creators on there.
I found the funny sheriff. Have you seen that one?
No, I have not. Send it to me. I love it all.
Okay, I'm going to send you that one.
I think I'm the only person under 45 not on Instagram.
Wow.
You're not on Instagram.
I don't. Wow. I don't particularly. If social media didn't have a utility, Twitter as a utility professionally, I don't know. I'd probably be on it, but I'd use it as a newsfeed. I genuinely.
Me too.
I'm on Twitter a lot because of what we do professionally.
Yes.
If I was a plumber, I don't think I would.
What do you follow
No,
sports
I would
on?
never do
What's that?
Twitter.
What do you follow sports
I would
on?
never do Twitter.
A lot of Twitter. I mean, I have
Okay.
my feed is a complete mix of sports and politics.
Yeah.
Okay, mine is just politics and politics.
Mine is
Peter, you
pickleball.
do a lot of Halloween. You mentioned
Yes.
$20,000 on Halloween.
Oh, we probably have honestly, we probably have $100,000 in. We have 3 storage units for holiday decoration.
Wow.
We lived in Old Northeast, which you
I
brought
know.
up.
Yeah.
And they are known as one of the 3 or 4 best Halloween communities in the country.
Yeah.
And like when you move in there, it's kind of like that Chevy Chase movie, like where he's selling the house. Like, you have to participate. They're like, what do you mean you don't have?
Oh, yeah. That right.
And so we started it that year, and we've stuck with it, and we keep adding to the pile. And so it takes. We just finished. Like, I finished before I came up here, my part, but it takes about a week to get everything.
Do you dress up?
Oh, absolutely.
So who are you going as this year?
We're doing. I'm going as Hades. Ella's into Percy Jackson. So Michelle's going as Pegasus. Ella's going as a character from Hercules. It's a Disney movie, and I'm going as Hades.
You could see the glazed look in my eyes.
Yeah,
Hades. There you go.
I do a lot of. We made fun of this guy. Do you remember Jake Owen when we made fun of him, the vampire candidate? Pedicini and I did.
Yeah. There was, I think, actually. Caputo did a story about him when he was still Politico.
We ran him out of town because he did cosplay and he dressed up as stuff.
I remember that.
And now I'm like constantly looking for, like I dressed up on the Disney cruise as TikTok Croc. Like now I love it. So,
all right. And you? Do you dress up?
I'm going this year actually as Peter Schorsch in my. And my shtick is going to be bringing up movie references. Only half the room gets. That's
1/3.
Yeah. Right.
What would you wear? What would you wear?
Oh, I've gone. I dress up, but it's usually very.
No. If you were dressing up as me, what would you wear?
I'd get a.
He'd wear the Jism shirt.
Super floral sort of shirt. I'd put some glasses on. I'd get a bald thing, and
my God.
I would carry a tennis racket with me, and whether they wanted to hear whether they wanted to hear about it or not, I would talk to them about tennis.
Okay.
And then probably a little bit of.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would ask someone, do you care about F1? And if they told me no, I would talk to them about it anyway.
I feel like I'm a caricature.
Yeah, no. You're a character, not a caricature. Okay, so the question about Halloween was, what's your favorite, what I was leading to is, what's your favorite Halloween candy? Do you have one? You can start.
It's Dirty Martini.
Dirty Martini.
Like, all of my favorites aren't like Halloween specific. I don't really like candy corn. I mean, I like candy, but it's all like traditional, like it works all throughout the year. So I don't like Kit Kat. I don't like Butterfinger would be my go-to. But I don't like candy corn, which is the only real Halloween specific candy I associate with.
Yeah.
So we set up these little Instagram sections at the house where people come over, even if we're not trick or treating, so they can take pictures in front of, like, we do a haunted ranch and stuff like that. Well, I made the mistake last year of inviting our pastors, like, as a throwaway. Like, I saw them that day at church, and I'm just like, hey, by the way, stop by. They were there at 4:30, like, on the door, and they were ready to party for, like, Michelle's like, you have the pastors coming over to a Halloween party where we pass out shots to the neighbors? And I'm like, she's like, you're in charge of them. And they stayed till 11.
Did they kill your buzz?
They killed several other people's buzz. Like, I just went with it, but it was just, it was
funny.
And like, so Michelle's had me on lockdown. Like, don't invite anybody that your therapist, your friend. Like, no.
I just hope the pastors aren't divas, because now you just.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Peter Schorsch and Matt Dixon, thank you so much. I'm going to have you back on. Well, maybe not you, virtually.
Can do it from afar.
Next time you're in Tallahassee.
I don't know. She's the tech wizard. I'm happy to do it if I can.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us, Dara.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for listening to Deeper Dive with Dara, a podcast by the News Service of Florida, hosted by News Service senior writer Dara Cam and produced by me, Mike Exline. Music for the podcast was recorded by Periodic Labs, LLC.